Welcome to Leaders of Enchantment podcast. I'm Cameron Ward. Today's guest is the incredible Akilah Martinez, a creative technologist, AR developer, and founder of Glittering World Girl. She is a Diné artist who has started her venture blending together XR, extended reality technologies, with video art by preserving indigenous culture and languages. I'm so excited because this episode will talk about how Akilah has started her passion in art and tech and indigenous futurism. So everyone listening, buckle up because after this episode, you might just quit your job and start creating something magical too by following your passions. Without further ado, please welcome Akilah.
Akilah Martinez, welcome to Leaders of Enchantment podcast.
Thank you, Doug. It's exciting to be here.
Well, I'm happy that you agreed to join and sit down and chat a little bit about your life and career journey. I always like to level set. Akilah, what is it you're doing here in Albuquerque, New Mexico today?
Yeah, so I came to town for a couple of days because last night I had to go to the city of Albuquerque headquarters for the public arts department to kind of go over an upcoming project.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of just got to chill after that, and now I'm here.
Okay, Akilah, you took today really literal. I meant in terms of what's your role today. If you met someone at a cocktail party, Akilah, what is it you do? What do you say?
For sure. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So I am a creative technologist from the Navajo Nation, and I also focus on language and culture revitalization through XR technology. And I love creating what I would love to imagine as a circular economic ecosystem through that. So, so definitely language and culture for the Navajo Nation is definitely included in that and revitalizing it.
Okay. You used a couple phrases there that I'm going to need you to give some definition to. So XR technology, what is that?
Yeah, so XR technology is an umbrella term, and XR means extended reality, and it's an umbrella term for augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay, it's an umbrella generic.
Yeah,
okay, I got it.
And what I focus on and what I lean towards in my own practice is augmented reality.
Okay.
So, so I develop mobile apps, augmented reality apps, but then also into WebXR, so people don't need to download an app to access the AR experiences that I create. And then lately, I've been tapping into developing experiences for AR glasses through the Snap Spectacles. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, put a pin in that. We'll get to that.
For sure.
You also mentioned circular economy. Where does that come into play?
Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of innovation happening in the capital side of business, right? And within just reimagining how an economic structure can look as opposed to traditional forms of economies. So circular economy is something that takes in maybe a whole ecosystem into in place. One of the tips around here could be a bioregional economy, which also includes the biodiversity at a specific region, and really considering that when building an economic structure. Okay. So in those kind of things, we're trying to think about new innovative ways to have everything in an ecosystem work together to generate a capital. A circular economy, and bringing in epistemology and honoring different people's epistemologies within that also
epistemology.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna need a definition for that.
Yeah. So that's just the culture, how people think about different things, how their philosophy and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot, but it's fun. It's really fun, trying to, it's kind of like the path of invention. It's what it kind of seems like. Yeah.
Got it. Well, let's go back to the beginning. So you're from Navajo Nation?
Yes.
Do you have a hometown, or is it just Navajo Nation?
So I come from the Baja-Land community, which is Bread Springs community, about 15 miles south of Gallup, New Mexico, full of sagebrush and pinon trees. And our summer house is kind of about maybe 5 miles to the east, and it's mountainous, pine trees, and just so beautiful. Kind of like the McGaffey type of mountains type of area right there. Yeah.
My family has a cabin in Blue Water, which is about halfway between Grants and Gallup, and it's very much up in the mountains. I want to say the elevation is, I don't know, close to 8,000 feet.
How exciting.
It's actually pretty high. So when you talk about your family's summer home, it's kind of in and around that area.
Wow,
no, I'm asking, is that...
It sounds like you would be on the other side of the maybe hills of the mountains.
Okay, so you'd be a little to the west of that?
I would be a little more towards the Zuni res. Yeah.
Got it. But probably same terrain.
Yeah.
Pine trees, high-ish elevation. No, I'm asking, is that for you?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So I'm wondering, like, did you grow up there, like, some, or, like, visit or spend summers there or anything?
Yeah, I mean, my family had it the entire time growing up. So I would say an element of, growing up there. We didn't have a lot of money, so those were vacations, was hanging out in Blue Water.
Exactly, yeah.
And so, it was definitely framed a little bit of who I am.
Yeah, like, so the summer house, I used to spend a lot of time. I was kind of like a grandma and grandpa's girl.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would spend the summers with them a lot in the mountains. So at our regular down in Baja-Land, we would have electricity and running water. But at the summer house, there was no electricity and running water. So I have like a lot of really cool, it's kind of like a privilege now to, live that kind of life in a sense with, a tech-filled world, which is kind of ironic because I'm in tech now.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I have a lot of fond memories of just my grandma cooking over the open fire and, just really enjoying it out there and being a kid, And
no electricity, so you're going to bed when the sun goes down?
So we had like kerosene lamps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fun.
That's interesting. And you would spend, I don't know, the school year down at your primary home and then spend the entire summer?
I can't really remember how that went because I was really young.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to school and then we're living in Baja-Land when I was going to school. And then I just remember amazing times out at the summer house with my grandparents and, having like the family events there and everyone coming out and having a big bash and stuff. It was so fun. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Tell me what else about growing up, because I saw a reference that specifically not just Navajo Nation, but you grew up in rural Navajo Nation.
Oh, okay.
And so, at least that's what somebody said about you.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, first of all, is that correct? Were you fairly rural?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Like, it's considered checkerboard land. So it's like part reservation at some point, and then it could go into like state or federal or like private owned land. So it's like checkerboard.
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay.
Yeah. So it was pretty much like, rural. 15 miles about south of Gallup, New Mexico. And my dad is from super rural area, Rama, New Mexico.
Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah. So which is about, actually Mountain View, more so. So it's a little farther than Rama. So that's really rural out there. Yeah.
Okay. So what were you like as a kid?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Like, okay, so.
Well, what do you remember?
I know that, like, I had, like, a really strong attachment to my grandparents growing up.
I pick up on that.
Yeah, like, so they only spoke Diné bizaad, so, and then my parents, they spoke full Diné bizaad and English.
Okay.
But, so, my grandparents only spoke Diné bizaad, so I was a little girl that spoke Diné bizaad, you know?
Okay.
And then, like, into my adolescence, I think that what I really remember is that it felt like I had, like, these supernatural abilities or something.
Whoa.
Yeah, like, just, like, having an intuitive, like, strong intuition.
For people?
For just things that were going to happen and stuff like that. Yeah. Or just, like, as simple as someone's going to visit the next day or something like that. And I think that
so an unplanned visit, you would just have a sense?
Yeah, I would be like, so-and-so is going to come tomorrow. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of that, like, so I grew up traditional Diné.
Okay.
So we were very much practicing our cultural ceremonies, like pretty much all the time. And that like really, I think shaped who I am in believing that in this other like supernatural world that's unexplainable, but that we are also able to tap into. So I used to like in my adolescence, I used to read like meditation books and like try to meditate and all this and that. Yeah. So, but, yeah, like I really was a person of the child of the land, you know, a child of the land. I played out on the land a lot and with my siblings and my cousins and, yeah, I was attached at the hip with my grandma, you know? Yeah.
Why your grandparents? Or is that your culture?
I'm not sure. Like, I am the youngest of three.
Okay.
And I
were
think...
were you literally the baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like, I think I just really had a really great relationship with my grandparents. They were teaching me a lot about the Navajo way of life. And then I think at home as well, my parents were doing a really good job. Like before preschool, I already knew how to read. So when I went to preschool, I was really bored. And I actually used to ditch preschool to go hang out with my grandparents.
Because you already knew the lessons.
I already knew how to read and they were barely, you know, covering the ABCs and stuff like that. Yeah.
And read in English or read in your language or both?
In English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Were you a bookworm?
Yeah. For like in my adolescence, I was obsessed with World War II.
Really?
So I used to read anything I could like get in the library about World War II.
That's funny.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
I'm kind of a war buff, World War II buff. Why did World War II appeal to you?
I have no idea. Like it might have been something like with Anne Frank, you know, like reading Anne Frank.
Oh,
and
interesting.
The diary.
Yeah. The Navajo Code Talkers?
Yeah, like I never really got into that, but definitely realizing that was a significant part of World War II as well. Yeah.
Yeah, major part. Okay. What was school like for you?
Yeah, like so school was pretty chill. Like I was kind of like a naughty one, like in junior high and high school and stuff like that. But besides that, I was like in the AP classes, like the...
You were? Yeah. Something tells me you probably got pretty good grades.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, because like, I don't know, like maybe, I'm not sure, but it was until I went to UNM. And I think I just kind of like got defiant. You know, I got defiant against the school system or something, and I just didn't really care until I found electronic arts and then and coding, and I got nerded out and I started getting straight A's at UNM. Yeah.
So you had no exposure to that in junior high or high school? Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a funny question. Do you have a problem with authority?
I think that when I was younger, it was more so apparent. Okay. I don't think that right now. I just don't really spend my energy on that.
Okay.
I definitely I feel like we should like live a morally, like people should just care about other people in the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, so I definitely don't spend a lot of energy on that kind of stuff because, like, you know, coming from the Navajo Nation, there are a lot of like disparities that have happened and injustice, you know, and
I understand.
Growing up, you know, surrounded by that and reminded about that constantly can really lead to like mental disease and stuff like that.
Was it front and center for you growing up? And when you say the inequities, do you mean financial inequities? Standard of living, is that what you're referring to?
I would say that, and then also like, so the Navajo Nation has like a lot of natural resource extraction that has like caused, and not only just Native people, but like people in grants that aren't Native that have like have developed health problems because of like natural resource extraction and stuff like that.
I had uncles who worked in the plutonium mines in grants.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I was going to be a geologist at one point.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, because I was just so knowledgeable about all the natural resource extraction and how that like devastated the land and the health of the people and the animals and everything. But then I just didn't want to do that, and I went into art. So I'm very thankful that I did that.
Yeah. And by the way, they weren't plutonium mines; they were uranium mines.
Okay.
In Grants. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I'm getting the sense that, and I'm just going to say activist because for lack of a better word, that kind of came to you early on, like you saw around you injustices, and that stuck with you. Is that a fair statement?
Okay, like I guess like I could see why people would say activist, but I don't define myself as an activist at all.
Like, again, not the best word. I'm sort of struggling for the right word.
That's what I was going to say is that a lot of the times, I guess when groups of people are born into this kind of like historical situation and current situation.
Historically unjust situation.
Yeah, like it's kind of... it's common for them to realize that things could have been handled better.
Sure.
And for them to it's natural for them to be like, well, this is what good people would have done to, not cause these injustices. And that's just the difference, right?
Yeah.
It's just about being a human and wanting to live a better life and wanting the land to be healthy, right?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. And so you graduate high school. Did you go straight to UNM from high school? Oh,
yes.
Okay. And why UNM?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm not really sure why UNM. My dad is an alum from UNM.
He is?
And so I'm not really sure at the time. Like, okay, so maybe it was like, I got accepted there. And I felt like, so growing up, my parents would bring us to Albuquerque a lot, like maybe a few times a month.
A month? Oh, wow. That's quite frequent.
Yeah, like just to like get away and, have a little fun and do whatever, shop or whatever.
You were pretty familiar with Albuquerque.
Yeah, like also I was familiar with like the whole Nob Hill area and everything. And like, I kind of like the vibes, and so it was like, ooh, like, I'm going to be on my own, and I was on dad's scholarship. So so I got to go to UNM and it was fun. Yeah.
Okay. Dad's scholar. There wasn't a lottery. There were lottery scholarships.
I didn't. Yeah. So I didn't get the lottery scholarship. I forget for what reason, but I did get a few scholarships. Yeah.
Okay. But you were reliant.
Dad.
You were reliant mostly on the bank of dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you went into you ultimately got your degree in fine arts with a focus on electronic art. Did you know from the get-go that's what you wanted to do, or did you try a few different things? Did you change your major a half a dozen times, which some kids do?
Yeah.
What was Akilah's story?
Yeah. So I think that I began like, trying to do the geology thing.
Okay.
And then,
so you did start off with the geology.
Yeah. And so give big ups to people who could like, I think like I just swayed away from that because I felt like a lot of anxiety rising around like the eco anxiety, I guess it's called, when you're really just aware of like all the stuff that's going on like to the land and the people and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I guess like I really wanted to nurture an inner calling that had started since I was a child.
Okay.
And I think I covered this last year during the Dean's List.
Yeah, the UNM
Dean's
Speaker
List,
Series.
Yeah,
Yep.
So since I was a child, around maybe 3 years old, I constantly witnessed my grandparents having to watch TV programming that was only offered in English. So I told myself at such a young age that I would love to make media in Diné bizaad someday.
Yep.
So that's why I feel like I went into the art field to kind of like explore how that can manifest, So, and then when I found electronic art, it was just, I just loved it. And I loved coding and I loved like hacking toys and stuff like that.
Okay.
And like kind of putting like a little indigenous like twist to them just by like, even if it's just including our language in it or something like that. I loved that. And my grandma really enjoyed them too, the projects that I did during that time.
Did you start a lot of these projects like when you were young, like high school projects and stuff?
Not at all.
Oh,
It
really?
all pretty much came at UNM.
It all came out at UNM.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you sort of described this early, I'll just call it an epiphany, when you were quite young about your desire to do this. So, and I'm reading from an article that I found on you that essentially either you describe yourself or someone else describes yourself as an artist and cultural bearer who has dedicated her life to preserving her cultural heritage. Would you agree that that's your mission statement?
I would say so. Like, definitely, I feel like that's the basis of a lot of the work that I do. But also, lately, I've been branching out to stuff that's not Indigenous related at all, or like obtaining clients that like aren't Indigenous or don't identify as Indigenous. So, like I feel like that's kind of like with my own like awakening and stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm just really realizing that all of us are this in essence of like infinite soul, that like you are like that being and that energy.
Akilah, you're getting deep on me.
Yeah. So like, that's why I just like, I see all of us as like really valuable, you know?
Okay.
So
What do you mean? Keep going on infinite soul.
yeah. So like, I think that, just that, you know, like people,
A soul that there's no bottom to the depth. It just keeps going.
yeah, like the spirit that's within us and stuff like that, that all of us really obtain, part of this like infinite other thing that's not human flesh. So that's transcendent of identity, right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, but definitely I started in this work as a cultural barrier. I definitely still really include that in my work. And I'm really excited to just carry on and uplift people too as well through tapping into their infinite self as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you early on you identified, I'll just call it a problem statement. In this case, your grandparents not being able to consume any form of media in their own native language. But that just sort of, but turning that into your career or your life's work, that didn't trigger until you got to Albuquerque and got to UNM and started getting into your studies there. Is that correct?
Yeah, like I didn't know that I would like form my own business or anything like that. But definitely when I joined a like video production class at UNM.
Okay.
Alongside my electronic art classes, and that's when I produced some of the very first videos in Diné bizaad was through the production class. Okay. My former professor, Mary Songes, she totally loved it. I put it on, at the time, Facebook, or YouTube, and it did really good. Okay. It had like, pretty good. It had like a couple thousand within the first week views and, interactions. And people just loved it. Like it was a redefinition of how language revitalization could look through modern forms.
But that didn't have augmented reality. That was just kind of some storytelling. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And at what point did you start to fold in the augmented reality to what you were doing? For sure. So like I said, I was, nerding out with the electronic art classes. Nothing wrong with nerding out, Akilah. Yes, I love it. I love being in nerdy spaces like hackathons. What's up? Sure. But yeah, so one of the CS majors had gone into just to take some of the electronic art classes to just, find or to explore different creative ways that you can approach code. And he had an Oculus VR headset. That's the Facebook one, right? Or I'm sorry, Meta? Yeah, it got acquired, I believe. I'm not sure. But then now it's like it's phased out and now it's the Meta Quest. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that was back then, and that was probably like 2013. Okay. Yeah, 2012 or something like that. Okay.
And then, I graduated 2014. I moved home to take care of my grandma into hospice for 4 years.
Wow.
So I didn't really get to like work on my stuff, like as an artist.
So you had to kind of hit pause for a little bit and take care of your family responsibility.
Yeah, and that was I loved that. Like I miss my grandma. She's amazing. I would never take that back. When she passed away in 2018, I really wanted to get into the AR stuff.
Okay.
XR technology. So I was fortunate enough to get an XR immersive fellowship through an XR company called Crux.
I saw that. Yeah. And I actually had a question about, tell me more about that. And by the way, let's finish the story with your grandmother. So you graduate, then you realize there's a need for you back home. You go back. You said you were there for 4 years. How'd you keep your skills sharp?
So I did do a little bit of like community grassroots stuff here and there when people needed like language translation, like Navajo-language translation, like during that time. I featured as a main actress in a film that was all under bizaad.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite projects. Just doing stuff like that. Like people would hire me to do like radio ads in Navajo and stuff like that. So, but I didn't even.
But all local.
Yeah, all
so that you
pretty
could
much
stay
local.
close by. Okay.
Albuquerque and Gallup. That was pretty much it. Like I had the weekends off.
Oh, you had the weekends
off.
So it was literally it was a Monday through Friday job.
Yeah, and then my mom would take care of my grandma when she didn't have work on the weekends.
Okay, but your mom was working during the week.
Yeah. Okay. So it was fun. It was a really fun time, and I got to improve my Diné bizaad speaking skills during that time. So it was nice. Yeah.
Okay. And so after that experience, then that's when you went into this immersive technology fellow at Crux. So what is Crux?
Yes. So Crux is basically, it's a Black women-owned XR company.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And they really were also reimagining how we can have or create new structures to access to capital.
And it's local to here.
They were local. I'm not sure where they're at right now. Dafina McMillan and Lauren... oh gosh, I'm forgetting her last name right now. Lauren with Crux. Okay. Yeah, so they had moved to Albuquerque, and it was just synchronistic that I was not too far from Albuquerque because it was like a national call for their fellow, and so they chose me, and they were here. Yeah.
And what did they do? Like, what was their? Was it a business?
Yeah, so they were doing a startup for XR technology, and so they really at this time, so when my grandma passed away, I really wanted to learn how to make like some kind of transformational, monumental change for the community. Okay. And I love art, and I feel like a lot of people on the res, they're talented and they have, artistic skills. So I was interested, how can we make a creative economy on the res? And I knew nothing about entrepreneurship.
Interesting. Almost like a co-op?
Something.
For an artist co-op?
Or just like to empower people to learn they can make their own business, basically. Yeah. So I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing about finances or anything. And then Crux, the fellowship, was very much focused on finance and like new ways to access to capital. So
and by the way, this was an application process, so you had to apply to
go through an interview.
Got it. And what was the purpose of the fellowship? Why did Crux issue this call for people to apply to become a fellow?
Yeah, so they really wanted people to join, I guess, their movement to learn how we can use XR, to create our own narratives in media, especially emerging media. Okay. And then also B, to find how to make social enterprises is what we would define it as today. So, and I was interested in all of that.
Okay, and when you say our, you mean our respective communities? Because I think you said they were African American. Yeah. You're Native.
Yeah, anyone's ownership of their own narrative in media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what'd you do?
So I got to do a little of administrative stuff, but they flew me between Los Angeles and New York City to just help plan these convenings where
Okay.
we get together with like impact investors and social entrepreneurs and people who are just like creating new access to for people to have access to capital, like organizations like that, artists as well. So I got to just kind of sit in the room and learn a lot. Like there was so much like jargon that I didn't know when I was just taking notes, and I had to go and like research what all that meant. And
That's
so I
funny.
learned a lot,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, probably lots of acronyms. You had no idea what they meant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess continue with your career arc since then. So you finished that. That was a handful of months, correct? Mm-hmm. And then what was next for Akilah?
Let's see. What was next after that? I joined boot camps, like coding boot camps.
Okay.
And I did really good in those. Graduated at the top of those. And I was getting really good about like telling my story and networking, like attending Google events. And then COVID came. And
that thing.
Yeah. And then
Did you go back home?
yeah.
You just
like well, I was here for a while.
Okay.
In Albuquerque. Then I went home.
But then that became untenable. I mean, it was going to go on. Who knew how long that was going to go on for
Exactly.
at the time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like hibernating, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were all kind of hibernating.
Yeah.
Okay. But you hibernated back home.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how about post-COVID?
So it's all kind of like a blur.
Okay.
So one life-changing moment that had happened in, let's see, 2021, I lost my dad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah. So I lost my dad and
Was it unexpected?
yeah.
Okay,
So,
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Yeah. So that was really life-changing for me. And
That was still during COVID.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I kind of
Did that restrict your guys' ability to bring family together?
it was different, I think,
Yeah.
than maybe if it wasn't COVID,
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that had followed by like a bunch of dark months,
Okay. I mean, I get it. It happens.
Yeah.
Kind of took the wind out of your sails.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it.
So, but then so that was like, was that 2020? No. Okay. So he left in 2020. And then so he passed in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And then in maybe the spring of 2021, I was kind of coming out of like maybe a depression or something like that.
Yeah.
And
So your dad's passing really through you.
yeah.
Threw you for a loop.
It threw
Okay.
me down.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and but my dad, he was amazing, like I think he's the reason why like I don't want to work for anyone else, like he owned his own business. So
Okay,
and
Akilah, we haven't gotten there yet.
and he comes from a really like amazing community. Like the Rama Navajo community is like really about self-determination and sovereignty and just really, uplifting the community.
Yeah.
So, in spring of 2021, I had, I guess, what they call something like an experience where you have to be, where you hit the lowest part of your life. Something very traumatic happens, but then you're introduced to your higher self at that point.
Okay.
So that was me in 2021.
You were introduced to your higher
my infinite self.
Your infinite soul.
My infinite self and soul, yeah.
Okay.
And I think like learning about
So
that.
hold on a second. I can't just let that one go. So how did that present itself to you?
I think by chance, maybe by like miraculous chance, like as funny as it may sound, but like through YouTube videos that were talking about this information. So
did you just go down a rabbit hole?
I think I did. I think I did. But and then I got introduced to like something like, synchronistically that was, I guess, true about myself and true about everyone. And I think it really reminded me as well as that like adolescence girl that was nerding out about meditation books and stuff like that. in like, you know, also like the Navajo way of life and the ceremony really speaks to a lot of this stuff as well, like quantum physics and neuroscience. So it all made sense to me at the right time, maybe when I needed it the most, you know?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Akilah, what are you doing today? So let's get into your storytelling / XR overlaid with XR.
Yeah. So, I'm an augmented reality developer.
Okay.
I focus on language and culture revitalization.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm, I guess, what you would call an entrepreneur, social entrepreneur. And I own my own business called Glittering World Girl.
Okay.
Glittering World in itself is a cultural reference, Navajo cultural reference. So on the Navajo Nation, you'll see like Glittering World Girl Mountain, Glittering World Construction, Glittering World Housing.
Oh, really?
But I am Glittering World Girl. Yes.
Why Glittering World?
So it has to do with our creation story.
Okay.
Our creation stories and the different worlds that we have emerged through to get to here.
Okay.
And this one, it's debatable if we're still in the white world. Well, the white world is kind of like the same as the Glittering World Girl, which is Nohokant Diswas, which means glittering world, basically.
Okay.
And so it was predicted that in the glittering world that we would be filled with a lot of outside influence, the Navajo people, and that could be interpreted as like technology.
Yep.
And during this time, we will be losing our language and our culture. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So I kind of like to like, you know, fight the status quo and be like, well, we can use technology to revitalize language and culture and to sustain it, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Now I get it. I
Yeah.
get the name, Glittering World Girl. Okay. I guess a basic question, which is, you know, the storytelling around Navajo culture. Why does it need augmented reality?
For sure.
Or maybe I'll rephrase that question. What does augmented reality enable you to do that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do?
Yeah, for
without
sure.
it?
That's a good question. Yeah. So with augmented reality and other XR technologies, these are emergent media forms and they're emergent technologies. And so with traditional forms of media like history books and film, during the inception of those, a lot of people didn't have the narration and the narratives told through those forms were just controlled by a certain group of people.
Right.
So a lot of stereotypes had happened
Absolutely.
during that time.
Absolutely.
So with XR technology, the difference there, as opposed to those forms of technologies, is right now it's not owned by a certain group of people to dictate the stories told through XR.
Owned by the creator,
It's
whoever
owned by-
the creator is.
Yeah,
correct?
like so. There could be a lot of autonomy there.
Yep.
So the way I like to approach it is, I kind of like to think about like the futuristic sense. And so with XR technology, it is changing a lot with like how people market their business or they train their industry
Yep.
or they provide educational materials.
Yep.
It's like the next wave of
Okay.
like media.
Okay.
So for me, I feel like it's a benefit to get into the media,
Okay.
have our voices at least at the table during kind of what seems like the inception
Yep.
of this technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Akilah, because I'm a rubber hits the road kind of guy, give me some examples. Like, so storytelling with, you know, overlaid with a layer of augmented reality. Like, what are you telling a traditional story that you then can fold in and fold in augmented reality, modernize it, make it more appealing to kids? Is that kind of the gist of it? Yep.
Yeah, that's a good question as well. So, yeah, like I think a part of it is appealing to kids. Like
Okay.
a lot of kids on the res, they're really technologically inclined now.
They are.
The iPad kid does exist on the res, you know? So, and like if they don't really see themselves in the media, you know, that they're consuming, that's just like gonna further separate them from language and culture, especially if their parents don't speak
When
it.
you say they don't see themselves, meaning they don't see their culture
Yeah.
in the media they're consuming.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one aspect for it. So one of the experiences that I created is called Diné, and it's a language learning experience that has the coyote in there, a 3D model, a really cute 3D model of a coyote.
Okay.
And because coyote has like he's a storyteller in our culture, and also so there's also like different panels so people can learn like the basics, how to count to 1 to 10, how to pronounce some fruits, how to introduce yourself.
Oh, literally lessons.
Yeah, just
Okay.
like just very short and very like modernized and like I kind of really like the cute kind of style, like
Yeah.
I guess what's known as kawaii style.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't really dive too much into like full on cultural storytelling. Like I feel like as a technologist, I have to find the balance to incorporate culturally appropriate stuff.
Got it.
So people don't come after me, So yeah, yeah.
Okay. I get it. You use the example of teaching how to native words for various pieces of food and number systems, et cetera. Are those like being picked up by teachers and utilized in the classroom?
Yeah. So that's the next step.
Okay.
I think that is probably kind of going to be like a 2025 type of thing.
Okay. Akilah, it's 2025.
I know, like, yeah, before the end of the year, at
Okay.
least. So, but I have made contact with some immersion schools and just doing interviews with them and seeing
Out
their
in the
interest.
Navajo Nation?
Yes.
Okay.
On the res here and then Muscalero and then a couple of immersion classrooms here in
Okay.
Albuquerque.
Okay.
Just to kind of get a scope of the work or a scope of the field and the market to see if they're even interested in it. And they are.
Okay.
They're really interested in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I guess run with that. What's next? Where are you going with this? I'll just call it an enterprise. Glittering World Girl Enterprises.
Yeah. So next is that the goal, I'm going to start hosting workshops to
Okay.
get more people to learn how to develop AR.
Okay.
And also, I would love to host some of these workshops with some of the cultural educators and then also for the youth themselves.
Okay. And you're going to hold these cultures out in Navajo Nation?
I would love to do that.
Okay.
At least a couple there and then some here. I have a really strong relationship with New Mexico Community Capital.
Okay.
And they recently opened up their Resilience Hub, which is an amazing state-of-the-art downtown space just for people to, host workshops or gather.
Downtown
host
where?
Fashion shows on 3rd Street.
Oh, downtown
Yeah.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, here.
Oh, sorry.
Here. So yeah,
Okay.
so they're New Mexico Community Capital, definitely gonna host some there.
Okay.
And then also I just recently made relationships with the Bridge Studio at UCLA. So they're interested in hosting AR development workshops for the urban indigenous community in LA.
Okay.
So definitely there as well.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. What about recruiting from your own people to get more folks doing what you're doing? Is that something on the horizon?
I think so. And I think that hosting a couple of these workshops out on the res would definitely get people into it.
Okay.
I also kind of have been nurturing a relationship with the MIT Reality Hack.
Okay.
And they really are interested in getting more Indigenous people into the XR space. So I feel like these workshops, introducing people to the field, could potentially have them attend MIT Reality Hack and, just create stuff, It's just another tool of storytelling that they can adopt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back in time to teenage Akilah. Give her some advice.
Okay. That one's always really tough. Let's see here. I would say just like don't procrastinate and just go all in with your creative ideas. Like I feel like that is where a lot of things fall into place for me now. And if I had just not procrastinated and done the work at a younger age, I would have maybe been a lot farther. But I feel happy with where I'm at. Yeah,
That's fantastic. So how can I learn more about you? Like for example, do you have some examples of these videos? Do you have a YouTube channel that you're hosting them on?
I do not.
Well, you do not.
But,
Okay.
So I just launched my website, glitteringworldgirl.com.
Okay.
And there is linked to all my social media.
Okay.
And yeah, like, so definitely I'll be posting a lot more stuff to glitteringworldgirl.com. I'm also on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I love LinkedIn. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, Akilah, that's all I have for you today.
Awesome.
I appreciate you coming on Leaders of Enchantment podcast.
It was so much fun. Thank you.